Guess who's back again. Little Joe's back. Tell a friend. Welcome to season 3 of Free Therapy, as the podcast that gives you some free therapy about some taboo subjects that you may not feel too comfortable talking about to a friend. We encourage you to do that going forward after today, after you listen to an episode, whatever it may be. Again, it is called free therapy, though. However, and if you do need help, the best therapy is typically paid for. So that is what I recommend, ladies and gentlemen. But I am going to get right into it today, as I always like to do. Not too many announcements. Let's just swing right to the start of season 3, because I have a guest that is long overdue, highly anticipated, and absolutely commiserated. I wasn't sure I was going to rhyme it, but I pulled it off. I knew I could. I knew I would. My guest is the incredibly creative, the non-stereotypical redhead ginger. Don't hit her with a stereotype. She'll hit you right back even harder. She is the better half of one of the dumbest people I know, but one of the sweetest that is around. And it is, of course, Kendel. Keep you on your toes. Wears the pants wherever she goes. Taft, soon to be Choppa. Welcome to the podcast. How the fuck are you doing, Kendel Taft? Welcome.
How do I even follow an introduction like that with rhymes and shit? I can't do that.
What none of my guests, you picked up on it. What none of my guests never realizes is I'm so narcissistic, I steamboat their introduction to make me look good, right?
Yeah.
So
it's working.
And so far,
for guests next time.
I haven't lost a step. That's what everybody's thinking. How are you doing, Kendel? Welcome. I'm really happy to have you.
Good. I know. It's about time. We've been talking about this for a while.
Since about I started the show. You were going to be one of the first guests. It never happened due to me. You were supposed to be season 2 guest. It never happened due to me. And after a many cancellations back and forth.
Oh my God.
Mostly due to me.
You were really saving me to be the season opener. Come on.
That's what it was. I wanted to make sure you're in the perfect position. So, you know what I said? I took an extra power nap one day or two and told you that I had a conference with a parent or whatever it was, and then we were ready to go. No, life comes up. I have started a new job, for all my listeners that don't know, so I've been extremely busy, had some family issues. KT had some stuff, as she is quite busy, as business is booming on her end of things. Do you want to tell people briefly what you do before we even get into anything today?
I'm a speech therapist. I work with babies and toddlers. I teach them how to talk, or if they have any feeding difficulties, I help with those so they can enjoy food and call mama.
She has those big developing moments that will get through them through the rest of life, because how the fuck are they supposed to get through life if they can't eat and they can't speak? So snaps for you there, absolutely. But before, we're going to dive into a topic that I think kind of connects everything that we talked about this show. Everything from anxiety, from even transgender, from work-life balance to whatever it may be. I think in one way or another, this absolutely ties into all those. But before we get into that, I always like to ask, and I am just rhyming all over the place, how do you know my obnoxious ass?
I think the audience is really going to appreciate these rhymes.
Listener, at this point, you know there's at least 10 to 12 rhymes on free therapy. And we are consistent and stay the same here at free therapy.
Oh my gosh. So how we first met. Before I met Joey, I met his roommate Thomas and had a huge schoolgirl crush on him. And I thought maybe it was going somewhere until I met his roommate Joey. And when I met you, it just kind of sealed the deal. I got free therapy from you, and now I'm stuck with Thomas, but at least I have you.
About that, I had to dump off to somebody. I saw your ex. I knew you were tough enough. I knew you could handle it.
Thank you. Only with your support.
We go through that. We steamroll through it together, slowly but surely, with that tornado.
We are literally just joking about how he completely ignores the both of us, so at least we have each other.
Right. Like, just to give everybody the example, and I want to get back to the first Met story, because it seems like KT may be blanking here a little bit, and that is fair, because we were both what you do in college. We were peak of what we do at college at that point. So it was, I don't blame you. I totally remember that. But before we get into that, though, I went over yesterday, catch up with you all. It's been maybe a month or two. And you weren't there. You're at the store. You weren't there yet. So typically it's just me and you having small talk and Chop chiming in as he best he can. And that was literally me talking to a wall for 30 minutes. And he hadn't seen me for 2 or 3 months, by the way, trying to make small talk and normal people catch-up talk with your fiance.
Joey, welcome to my life.
Right.
Thank God you taught me the coping mechanism of talking in response like I'm him. Like, yeah, Kendall, that's so cool. All the time. Like, I have someone to talk to, even though it's just myself.
Yeah, and then after a while you convince yourself somebody is actually talking back, and it's fine. So you also give me the coping mechanism of watching something in the background while you're doing something, not let your thoughts on, which does help. We will get into all that in a little bit. But the way we first met, and I typically don't tell the story, but again, I make the podcast starting about me by asking how you know me and rolling your introduction. But this is my poison ivy costume, giving into a stereotype that year. Poison ivy costume. It was that year we actually met the first night you met Thomas as well. Yes, we did. We were both pretty. We were. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor of how to say this today. It's escaping me, so I'll just say we were fucking deep. We were hammered. We were. I won't give any. It's what happens in college. It was a good hammered Saturday Halloween night. What do you expect? We did what we were supposed to do. Right? And sorry, I didn't come with a metaphor I liked in time. But no, so yeah, that's exactly kind of where it all started, where it all spawned from. And then it blossomed into a really, really near and dear friendship that I hold really close to my heart, that I was totally unexpected at the time, and that I am almost some days swear that I like you way more than I like who's supposed to be my best friend. So he's tolerable, it's fine. But let's be honest, he still has both of us in his life because we love each other. Let's be real. We're best friends till the day we die. And that's it. And I'm still trying to hook you up with the grocery store guy and not him. No. So that's how it kind of all started through who we do love you, because he is finally going to listen to something I do. And I would assume it's this, right? And we do love you, buddy. You are a sharp motherfucker. And there's a reason we're both still in your life. And that is more than just our friendship that you did help us blossom. It is because you are a wonderful human being. And we hope you listen to this podcast with an open heart, as you all kind of do, because I think this is a pretty heavy one. I think this is an important one for all couples. I think it's an important one for single people as well. And that's something that we betray each and every single day, KT. Something that I think, since we had kind of a conscious perspective or will to kind of, we no longer had the see it and it's, or no longer see it and it's gone kind of mindset that you have until you're about 3 years old. Get the self-confidence versus true confidence versus false confidence mindset. And I think it does start around that age, right? You have people like, and you are going to be referenced 1,000 times, Thomas Joppa, like Thomas Joppa, who we are both have admitted we are extremely jealous of. And what we wanted this podcast to kind of spurt off of is he is naturally confident. It is annoying. He's always been that way. I think he's in a rare minority, to be perfectly frank, that does not, if rarely has any worries, and that projects into his confidence. And the rest of us in this world that are doing the old mantra of fake it till you make it and putting that smile on, pretending like we got it all figured out when we certainly do not, and false confidence. So to kind of get the boat rolling here, to get us into the shallow waters to start off, what do you view confidence versus self-confidence, or the confidence versus self-confidence versus false self-confidence?
So I feel like someone is confident when they're okay, like making mistakes, looking silly. They don't feel bad about themselves if they have to ask for help. A perfect description of my fiance, Thomas Chapa, versus someone who has a fake confidence. I think it's more like, it is for sure a coping mechanism, like to get themselves through a really nerve-wracking experience or something that makes them super uncomfortable, just putting on this front because you care so much about what people think of you, versus if you're a confident person, you don't care what other people think. You're just going to do it.
Right. And I think it's too kind of spots from where, for whatever reason, and this is a cliche in itself, but it's that kind of don't give a fuck mentality, or better yet, letting it all go mentality, that I think is difficult for people like us that do have that constant anxiety to kind of just say, what? You mean let go of a mentality? The don't give a fuck mentality? It's extremely tough to just kind of say, I don't care, and I'm just going to do me. And I think a lot of that does come from kind of genetics and perspective and how you grew up. And I also think that is the minority of us in what good old Thomas Chalk is in, right? And by the way, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to say his name 40 different ways, people. It's not because I forgot what his last name is. It's just because that's what I do. Chaka, Chapa, Chaka Flame, Waka Waka Chaka, whatever it may be. We're going to switch it up every there once in a while. But no, so I mean that's I think a big thing of where it stems from is kind of just that a lot of people, we see it, that kind of thing, as a lot of people are that walk around with that, or they're portraying that false confidence, and we kind of see that as self-confidence as well, and then we allow it to grow bigger into us. So I mean, how do you think it kind of separates the people that like portray it versus the people that actually do have that self-confidence? Do you think it's more of a genetics thing? Do you think it's how you grow up, a classic nature versus nurture debate here? As always, I say it's a little bit of both, but at the same time, do you think it's maybe actually the 1 percentile of Thomas Chapa, and I'm kind of actually arguing, and what I wanted to get the larger conversation here is I think it's 99.9% of us are portraying that false confidence, the fake it till you make it mentality.
Yeah, sure. And I will say with Thomas, his dad is super confident, and he and his dad are a lot alike, where my mom also has anxiety. So of course, seeing her worry about things is going to make me worry about things. And I think that it also has a little bit of nurture aspect in there.
Right. Exactly. No, that's a good point to make, right? Because it's kind of because like you're kind of hinting at his mom's sweetest thing in the world, but you can also tell she's very much more on our side, right? Where she has that constant anxiety and that constant kind of thing. And I always kind of bring it back, and what I think it is I think everybody at a certain point, even the incredible Tom and Thomas Chapa, I think at one point dealt with those anxieties. I'm here to argue, and what I think we all kind of don't realize is we all are like that. It's just larger people than others. I would even argue that it's almost like false confidence is almost like that store brand self-confidence. It is essentially confidence, right?
Right.
Yeah. Duh. No.
I'm gonna you a little bit there. I think that it's fluid. I think that you can pretend to be confident and then do something enough that naturally the progression of that experience, you're gonna have enough exposure to it that, oh yeah, I got this. I've done it hundreds of times now. And then you truly do feel confident with something. And I think that for Thomas, that is the aspect of the false confidence. Maybe like the first time he walks into something, but for me, it's going to take 15 times for me to be okay with it. And he walks in like, sure, we'll see what happens.
Right. No, that's a great way to put it. Because I kind of made a swooping generalization there, and let me kind of clarify. And you hit that point on the head, where I think we all at a certain point with certain things reach that point of confidence, right? Meaning like right now, if I said to you, KT, I need you to go ahead and I got a new patient for you. Let's say, said my caseload's already too large. Don't you dare, Joe. It's already too big. Don't you start fucking with me.
Paperwork.
Yeah, your eyes did really get the eyes wide and But no, let's just say, Kendel, paperwork's done. Schedule opened up. I got a year and a half. I got a 16-month-old for you. Just showing a little bit of concerns with speech development, yada. I don't know all the specifics. I'm not going to try to sound
perfect explanation. I'm very impressed. I think I talk about work too much in front of you because you know exactly what I do.
Maybe I'm just really good at the fake it till you make it mentality. But no. So anyway, I go with you with that right now. You're ready to go. You're like, fantastic, new client. Let me meet the family. Hooray, hooray! If I tell that's true confidence, right? If I tell you, hey, oh, well, I need you to be ready tomorrow to go ahead and ski a black diamond for me, do a trick, and then go ahead and talk about it on a podcast right after and tell me the history of skiing and the black diamonds, how black diamonds started, and everyone that's ever shredded real hard on a black diamond that was historic. Right? You'd be like, what the fuck, Joey? Like, that's...
First of all, there would be no podcast because I would be in the hospital at that point. I had to go down a black diamond. Are you kidding me? I'd be in another country before we even got to the slope. Like, I'm not doing that.
And also to clarify, by no means does Free Therapy or Four Corners Studio want to have Kendel Taft hurt in any way. Neither does Joey Dorn by any means at any time. Oh. It happened to be the first reference that came into the host's head. But no, so I mean, I think that's like with this, for example, like I think when I first started out, I was very nervous, and now I kind of know what works and what doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what you're getting at, where it slowly but surely kind of builds. And everyone's like, okay, Joey, I get it. That's kind of glaringly obvious. Practice makes perfect, yada, yada, yada. But I think a lot of times what we don't really realize with that false confidence, it can go one of two ways, right? So yes, I think we're both kind of agreeing that a roundabout way, once you eventually get into your certain thing, yes, you're confident, you're ready to go, right? But is there also that glaring issue that comes and stems, I think, from a lot of those BFFs of anxiety and depression a little bit that always come together and open that hole of the false confidence, meaning it gets in your head, it crawls in nice and deep like, and it makes a home. For example, for me right now, it's sleep, right? I get the false confidence up with, oh, yay, hooray, I'm not going to have insomnia tonight. I took some melatonin. I took 2 Benadryls. I took, and I'm ready to go, right? And I should be nice and knocked out. And then sure enough, it's a swooping anxiety that will, 2 times a week at least swoop in and get me. And that's when it stems into a larger problem. So my question for you is, one, have you ever kind of dealt with something like that? Have you ever kind of stemmed down that road? And what did you do to handle it? And as well, not to make it too loaded here for you, or do you even see that as an issue?
So looking at like false confidence, when was the time that I had to use false confidence?
When you had that false confidence and you kind of let it get into that wider window of tying in your anxieties and depression, and it stayed locked there and didn't go the way we want it to go in terms of true self-confidence and self-confidence.
I can't say that it didn't go the way of true self-confidence, but I will say that when Thomas and I first started dating, I had this complete false confidence. Like, I wanted to look like cool as a cucumber when that is so not me, because I wanted him to like me. And people who have confidence are likable. They make people feel comfortable. And I had to fake it, but I also was feeling like, oh my God, I'm a fraud. He's going to find out the real me and not like me anymore. I'm going to trick him into dating me. And then he's going to realize, oh my God, this girl is nuts. And now, like 7 years later, he does realize that I'm nuts, but luckily he still likes me.
He loves all those perfect quirks, and he's pretty damn nuts himself. So
yeah, also true. I think that's why we're a perfect match. But I think being with him, like once I was with him for long enough, I truly did feel confident in the relationship and our communication and all that stuff. But then it really is a cycle or fluid, because when I was formally diagnosed with anxiety, he had no idea what was happening. Like, he did not understand that. And so that really affects your confidence.
And I'm sorry to interject. Were you generalized anxiety? Or are you just, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
Just generalized anxiety disorder?
Mm-hmm.
We're samesies.
Super fun. Twinning.
Twins. T and JD.
No, we'll have to compare our meds later.
Oh my God, that's my favorite. But no, so continue. That kind of gets me into the larger conversation that I wanted to get in with you, right? Is because I think And for you, and I think also to Thomas's credit, right? It's so rare I call him that, but to you and Thomas's credit there, right? You got me saying it. Is that communication and that confidence did stem in eventually that natural, healthy way, right?
Mhm.
Where I think you get what I'm getting at. I use me as an example of sleep, right? But I have plenty of examples of where maybe that false confidence didn't also did not go well because sleep's not going too well. Where the false confidence also did not work.
What is going well for you?
with relationships, right? John. I'll figure it out eventually. I'll figure it out. John's going pretty good. Kids are good. That's all that I care about. As long as that's all. But no. So anyway, I could give you a slew of examples of relationships, as you know and seen, right? That where my tropes and that false confidence spin in that anxiety and that depression, and it didn't work out as completely well. So it can go both ways, right? Certainly. And I'm going to kind of give you an example, and I want you to tell the people kind of the healthy version of what you said, because you did talk about what you and Thomas did, and kind of in a like way in terms of at first that communication was a little bit rocky. We were putting on falsities, as we all kind of do at the start of any relationship, whether it's a friendship in a certain light, right? Sometimes whether a work relationship or it's a relationship, right? Or it's a romantic relationship, whatever it may be. And I think that's exactly this false confidence and this point that I'm kind of nailing in here is trying to nail home here is when that false confidence goes awry, and again, those anxieties and depressions, BFF combo weaves itself into your brain, is when you get those examples of failed relationships. And you get those examples of those kind of, repeating vicious cycles that may not always work out. I think in a lot of cases they do, but for some of those individuals, it can be incredibly tough. I'll give you a quick example. So with me, I'm not going to mention any names, and I talked about this a little bit on the podcast before, but we'll go ahead and talk about, let's go 2000, before the one I think you met this one, before the one you met, that I was in an overthinking train about, that I was probably for about 6 months dating. You know where we're at now? I'm not going to give any names out, but you know where we're at?
No.
Okay, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Six.
I'm confident enough to say no. I don't know who you're talking about.
Point. But no, so basically this relationship lasted 6 months. I talked to plenty about it. I'll tell you when we're done with this. But and it got to a cycle of kind of what you're talking about. And it was, well, I want her to continue to like me. Holy shit, she likes me. I can't believe she actually likes me. What the hell is she thinking? I have to keep this facade up. How do I let this continue? And it was, for me, I don't think I went about it healthy. Eventually, you just kind of said, well, what am I doing? This motherfucker loves me, and he's a dumbass himself, so why do I care? Like, he's stuck with me, I'm stuck with him. Like, that's my lover, right? That's who I love. But like, and I want to hear how you did that, because for me, I just let it spiral, right? For me, I think a lot of people listening right now may do the same in relationships, where I could never get out of that cycle, and I could never let the false confidence turn into self-confidence to make me say, I am fine with who I am with her. Because again, it's far and above out of my league, and whatever, the situation may be where people are infatuated with, but yeah, far above out of my league, and I just let that cycle continue. So how do you think you kind of broke out of that cycle and realized, what am I doing, and actually gain that confidence? Because I think you're right what you're saying at the beginning of the podcast. I'll finish my ranting here in a second. But I think you're right when you said at the beginning of the podcast that you disagree with me, because it's eventually that false confidence in most situations does turn into that healthy self-confidence.
Yeah, and I'm going to stand by that. I think that that's what led me, like you're asking, to like, what did I do? I think I just kept up the act, and then realized that he and I were having very vulnerable moments with each other, and he still liked me after that. So if he liked me through some of those like embarrassing moments, or if he showed things that were embarrassing for him to me, then it really made me feel confident in myself in that relationship, that he was for sure into me.
Right. I mean, it just kind of, yeah, so it sounds like eventually it just kind of, it proved itself time and time again, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yet, I think that's kind of what I was lacking. Is I think a lot of us do that, right? Where we get caught up in that moment and that kind of rush of thought, and we let that swallow us whole, where
Right.
where it's like, okay, now I can't get out of that any longer. But some of us need to just take the KT route, which I don't even think she fully realized she did. Take a deep breath and say, what I'm doing here is fine. What I'm
Yeah.
doing here is enough. I'm giving my best effort. And honestly, what I have come to realize, and this took me a long, long time to realize, and why I don't really have this problem with relationships anymore, and now it's turned into a sleep thing, is more so that I realized if this person, whether it is I don't care what relationship it is, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it is a friendship, whether it is a work relationship,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be, if those people truly are there for you, truly believe in you, and truly love and accept you for who you are, then that's your confidence right there. That is enough. Those are the people that should be around you. Those are the people that truly matter, and those are the relationships that matter. The other,
Right.
if you're doing your best goddamn job, then and they don't support you, then you don't need them.
Right. And I also feel like if you're having fake confidence, it's because you really care about something or someone. So you're going to put the effort in. And then I also feel like if you have that like fake it till you make it confidence, some people don't believe this, but I think that eventually you really will end up like making it, you know? And there's a part of you when you're being a fake confident that truly is who you are. Like, I think that, yes, I've grown and matured since college, but I think I'm still the same person that I was when he first met me. But I felt fraudulent. But looking back at it now, I'm like, no, I mean, look at me. That's who I am.
Was I really being fraudulent, or was I just not comfortable with who I was yet?
Oh my gosh, that's such a genius way to think about it.
Well, it's kind of what it is, right? And like, yeah, we're in the deep water. I'll tip my own toe, brush my shoulders off there a little bit, and that felt pretty good coming out. But no, really, we are now in the deep water, KT. We are exactly where I wanted to be, and we're hitting a beautiful spot because I think you said that wonderfully as well. Is that that's part of the battle is what I'm bringing up too is with the anxieties and the depression. Again, that wonderful BFF combo that as Big Mouth put it, depression kitty and anxiety. What was the anxiety mosquito? Depression kitty and anxiety mosquito. Watch your latest season of Big Mouth if you haven't, because you look like you're there with depression kitty, but not there with anxiety mosquito. So meet anxiety mosquito. This not Big Mouth at all. Wait, what?
I've
Not
never seen it.
Okay, that is honestly, you two would love that. I don't even care on air. This is something I say to you off air. I don't care. Do it. Watch it. You're watching it.
Okay.
I recommend so much stuff to you over our almost 7-8 year friendship now.
I know. You have the best recommendations for shows and movies. I'll give it to you. Does that make you feel confident?
I'm so confident now, but she's lying to all of you. But but no, Big Mouth you should definitely watch. Sometimes I do have a hit, and Big Mouth you should definitely watch.
I'll add it to the list.
Love it. Beautiful. But so in Big Mouth, there's something called Anxiety Mosquito and Depression Kitty, who you will meet because you will watch it. And they're BFF combo. They work together all the time. And that is part of the challenge of I'm going to unwrap it and not call it false confidence anymore because I think we're kind of getting to the big of it all here and kind of what we always kind of get to at free therapy, the kind of motto at free therapy. And that's finding yourself, being yourself, and everything else will come to you, especially that confidence. When you can accept yourself as we both clearly could not, and Thomas Joppa clearly could in college.
Although, should he really be accepting?
Different issue that we definitely don't have time for, and I'm not licensed. That's a whole different issue, but he's confident and good for him, even though maybe he shouldn't be. But with that being said, is it's just the battle of finding yourself. When those fires come up, when that best friend combo comes up of anxiety and depression, when a bump in the road comes up or a relationship that doesn't work out comes up, those moments are where you find your confidence, or where you find yourself, is where you truly find who you are. And as with anything on this show, as we always get to with my guests, it's not easy at all.
Right.
And you've been using a lot of the point of your relationship, and there's a lot of my listeners that are in relationships and that do kind of want to hear this. It's what do you say, and you touched upon this a little bit, but I want to delve a little bit deeper. What do you say for those people that are worried they can't get out of that cycle? If they're hearing all this and they're like, okay, like I get it, like whatever, like you gotta be yourself and yada yada yada. I say that every episode, although I think we're hitting home and I'm really happy with where we're going here. But what would you tell to those people that are kind of thinking that in the back of their head?
Okay, well, first of all, if you're someone who's like, oh my God, be yourself, you're someone who needs to work on it.
Yeah, right.
You need to work on like self-care and loving yourself and accepting who you are. Like, you're the perfect listener, okay?
Yeah, keep on listening.
Right. What would I say to them? I guess there have been so many times in my life where I was just not a confident person. And I think the hard answer is just that, like, through experience and exposure are truly the only ways that I've really grown to turn fake confidence into actual confidence.
Hell yes. Or as I like to say, fuck yeah, baby. You're right.
Baby.
Oh, damn. Okay.
If it doesn't work out, we could always do a duet.
We need to do that ASAP. I don't even care if this does not work out. We need to do that ASAP. Because go on with your bad self. Go on with your bad self. Why did the Grammys last night? No, I think you just hit a home run with that point. I really do. Because I mean that's exactly what everyone has to constantly tell yourself, right? You have to constantly remind yourself of that if you are kind of in this falsity and in this rut of, I just kind of be myself and you're overthinking it, you're not getting on the spin, stop, talk to yourself and really see why you're not hitting that note, why you're not truly being yourself. And is it what you typically whatever you're upset about or whatever that rivaled up anxiety is just masking what it truly is that's actually bothering you, right? It's truly masking the true thing. And it's, well, I don't love this about myself right now, or I'm not doing this well right now. It's not so-and-so, didn't go to the place I wanted to eat, right? You know what I mean? So I go ahead.
I also, sorry, I'll just jump in real quick. I also feel like it's so important to remember, and you brought this up at the beginning, that everyone is feeling, well, 99% of the population is feeling the same way as you. So when you say something like, I don't love this part about myself, or I don't like how my job is going, there are people sitting in the room right next to you having those exact same thoughts, and people find comfort in that, knowing that they're not the only one who's like anxious about something coming up or who also feels like they're faking it. Does that make sense?
That does. I like to tell my kids that no one is worried about the zit that you have on your chin because they're worried about their zit on their chin.
Oh my gosh.
They're worried that their socks don't match today, or they forgot to put deodorant on, or their crush didn't say hi to them in the hallway, or whatever the case may be, right? That, like, everyone's so worried about their own insecurities. They're not worried about your insecurities, so let them go.
Right. And people who are confident don't care what other people think. Like Thomas, for example, he could be terrible at something and he just laughs at it. He does not care at all what other people think. Meanwhile, I'm like, who's looking at me? Who's watching us? Who's like, are they judging me? Am I doing this the right way? Am I doing it wrong? But also surrounding yourself with people who truly are confident makes you start to like feed off of that energy. And he has brought me so far out of my shell. Like when I went to the grocery store, I was never the guy that would talk to the cashier because it's a moment where you're, I guess, like vulnerable, where you're like opening up to someone and they could easily be like, fuck you, don't talk to me. Versus right. Tom's out here like, oh my God, I love your shirt. You like basketball? What's your team? Blah, blah, blah. And like that has brought a lot of joy to my life that I would otherwise have been missing.
I always forget that we both do that, by the way. That's that's a very me and him thing. That's why I love that child. But
What, talk about sports or
no,
talk to random people?
to talk to anybody at any moment about anything. Like I do the same thing. Like I'll talk to but I always say that's more my anxieties because I need anyone at any moment wherever I go constantly to like me. And it's
Club, please like me.
So it's like whenever I can, please like me, please. But no, another home run point. Again, I think that's exactly correct. For anyone that forgets for any moment, and kind of like what we're really getting in the deep water with now is exactly that. Is that if anyone doesn't think that the person next to you is not completely inside their own head about something else, they are. They are. And we're not saying there's anything wrong with that either, right? Because, again, Thomas Chapa is in the minority where he's just completely confident about everything he does. Because, like we're saying, eventually that false confidence does turn into self-confidence with
right.
that you practice in that we've already hit on. But at the same time, too, those things are still going to creep into our head. They're still going to be there. And it's just a thing to accept and know that just remind yourself, hey, no one cares that my shoes have a hole in it today.
Right.
Exactly. I buy shoes and it's whatever the case may be. No one cares that I have a little dirt under my fingernails or I have a booger in my nose. No one cares. Like blow your nose and move on with your day. Like, you're gonna be okay.
In 10 years, when that person says, "Oh yeah, Joey Duran, I remember him," they're not going to be like, "He had a huge booger." They're going to be like, "Oh my God, he is so funny. I cracked up the whole time I was with him."
You mean my crush from 6th grade isn't going to be like, oh my God, do you remember that one time Joey's sweater smelled like cigarettes because his mom doesn't smoke cigarettes while she did laundry until he was 16?
Okay, can't make any guarantees that one was. Remember that, but
you're exactly right? And obviously you can see some of those things stick with us, but it's there to remind us that I guarantee you that person hasn't thought about the fact that I smelled like cigarettes in 6th grade that one day for the hoodie I worn since the moment it happened, right? Okay. And that's the thing we have to remind ourselves as well. Like, I can't tell you how many awkward moments, because this is, now we're really in my wheelhouse of things that I had to really teach myself, and I can't tell you, and you've probably had this with me, how many times have I gone to you and be like, hey, KT, I'm so sorry about this. This was like the last week or 2 weeks ago, especially when we were living together, right? And I'm so sorry. And you're like, yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, but thanks. Like, I guess that's nice. Like,
I know.
Right. And I think you've done that once or twice to me too, right? And
yeah, you need the reassurance that everything's fine because you're still thinking about it.
Right, exactly. And it's for whatever reason, and in our flawed brains, all of our human flawed brains, that we're like, oh, it's okay now. Yeah. But I think the big thing to remember, and what we're kind of nailing, is I like to always give the 3 points to kind of take home. Yeah. I think the first one is one to remember that you are going to have to build or battle the anxiety and depressions that come with that false confidence, that come with that fake it till you make it mentality, until you learn how to make it, whatever the thing may be, until you learn to love yourself. Yes, that is almost every single free therapy one. It's nice, cheesy, and corny, and very fucking true, so do it.
Right. Because the fake confident you is actually just you. Surprise.
Right, exactly, and you hit that, and I didn't emphasize it enough earlier. That's exactly it. That false confidence is you. It's you trying to figure it out. Right. So yeah, go be yourself, find yourself, and when you're swimming in that false confidence, know 99.9% of the time it will turn into that true confidence once you learn to love yourself.
Like Joey and I clearly do.
Hey, damn right, girl. And then it's the number two. Number two is to have that support system, as you were talking about. I think that is incredibly crucial. Like you were saying, for you, it's Chop, it's your friends around yourself. For me, it's you, it's my other close friends around. Chop, not really at all, but he's there and I love him. If I really needed him, he's always there.
He listens. He just doesn't really answer.
Are you ready? You know what it is. It's that sucks.
And response is, Tom, a little more than that, please. Give me something more.
Okay, damn, that sucks. He added the.
Wow, Kendall, that must have been really hard. I totally understand what you're going through.
It's so tough right now, and I'm really here for whatever you need in any moment. Just and I'll listen. Oh, I need to work on my voice. That's a little raspy today.
Drink some water.
Got you. But no, support system. Truly figuring out how to love yourself, which is easier said than done. Take your time. Sometimes you may need some of that actual license, pay for therapy to get there. I know I certainly did, and probably still do. Don't have benefits getting there. And then,
number three.
Number three, and the third one, I think that we're now getting at is to you have to always remember to kind of have that, to remind yourself of all these things, to look back, slow down, and say, well, I'm letting those racing thoughts creep into my head. I mean, nobody else really cares that much. You're doing great. I'm doing my best, and that's all that counts. There's a quote that I came across earlier this week, and I'll let you go, I came across earlier this week, and it's sometimes the best effort you can give is just being there.
Right.
Showing up.
I know, and that's hard. Like, people don't always understand that just showing up can be so challenging.
Canceling things, and I'm not going to take credit for this bit because this is a John Mulaney bit, who just got out of rehab. Congratulations, John. He's doing better. He's in rehab for cocaine and alcohol. He's doing better. But
I was really worried. Thank God.
Good. I know you did. You were calling me every single night saying, "Is he doing well? Do you have any more information?" And we were both sick and worried over Mulaney, Google searching him every night. But no, he has this bit of canceling plans is like heroin. There is, and I'm guilty of this from time to time. It is one of the best feelings in the world, but sometimes it's the worst thing you can do. Just showing up. And, I have definitely hurt a lot of relationships by not just showing up sometimes.
Right. I feel like that's the equivalent of taking your bra off at the end of the day. Like, it feels great to take your bra off, but then, like, if you run to the store, people are going to be like, maybe you should have had a bra on.
Right.
So, even though, like, dodging things feels like a sigh of relief, you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be going to the store without a bra, okay?
Right, because you keep going to the store without a bra on, or you keep canceling plans, or you don't show up to work, then you never find yourself, you never find that confidence, and you never learn how to love yourself.
Agreed.
But with that being said, we're almost getting ready to wrap up here, KT. This is honestly, you might be co-host real soon. I might call you to interview all guests. Keep me from interrupting guests best I can.
We could talk for like 3 hours, but they would be like, is it over yet?
Right, yeah. We could honestly go for 3 hours. We could go all fucking day if we wanted to. But we won't do that to you guys. We just bottle it up all in one beautiful capsulated hour. But with that capsulated hour, let's put the cap on it. And boy, I'm good. Put the cap on it.
More rhymes.
More rhymes, more love in ourselves, more self-confidence, baby. But put the cap on it. What are your final thoughts? What do you kind of want everybody to go away with today? We have our 3 points of loving yourself, surrounding yourself, and reminding yourself. But kind of with those 3 points in mind, what do you want people to walk away that may still be struggling with these anxieties of finding true self-confidence?
Yeah, just remembering that you don't know if the person next to you is faking their confidence too. So you're all in the same boat, and it's okay to fake it. You're going to become it eventually. You already are it.
Fucking love it. That's exactly where we're going to end it. Nailed it, KT. I don't know why you were nervous. You did perfect. Talk nice and slow, unlike me, at a nice volume that everybody can stand, unlike me. So again, I'll talk to you about co-host opportunities down the road.
I like it.
But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I do anything for my gossip girl.
Hey, girl. Forever. You always know at 2 a.m. meet you in Queen Court. We're always going to be gossiping. Shout out to Queen Court. In case you might listen to this too. Lots of love. I haven't heard from you in a while. We got to get down soon, girl. But with that With that being said, to kind of wrap it up on my thing, I mean, it's those 3 points, right? It is that love yourself, support yourself, remind yourself.
Yeah.
And once again, it's an absolute honor to have you on, KT. I will absolutely have you back on again, whether it is co-host duties or guest duties. Again, I will let you know we do have return guests on this show. With that all being said, now I'm getting repetitive here. With all that being said, this is Four Corners Studio. I am sponsored by Four Corners Studio. Thank you to Michael Shanuti and all that do bring us the ability to do podcasts like Free Therapy, like Thoughtology, like Face of the Franchise, like Degenerates Are Us, like the Face of the Franchise, like The Last Nice Guys. I think I'm getting them all here, Shanuti. Hooping and Hollering, which is no longer going on. Five Holers, all those wonderful podcasts. We are sponsored, of course, by Seductress by Jax. If you need to get your nails done, hair done, and great Kendel Taft, soon to be Kendall Chapa, please do go hit up Seductress by Jax. You can find her on IG, Twitter, Facebook, all that. We are also sponsored by Stuck Up Clothing. Stuck Up Clothing, the finest fashion money can buy. And of course, eyewear.com, where you can get your finest glasses supplies till the day you thrive, till the day you die. Yep, that's right. There you go. I hope like that tagline I wear. I didn't finish strong, started off great. With that being said, this has been Free Therapy, the return of season 3. Of course, one more time, reminding you to love yourself, support yourself, and remind yourself that, motherfuckers, thank you so much. This has been Free Therapy. Till next time, we are